Hello. Today I'm gonna feature the German tier 8 tank destroyer, the Ferdinand. The matchmaking is just normal tier 8 and so forth. Since I feel like most of the game is so short, so we'll have to replays for you guys. Now we should start for the thing it is great at. It has 1300 HP, being only lower than the American T-28 and the same as the newly K91 SPG. It has good armor for its tier. You have 200mm of armor, which is great, since sometimes you can bounce some shots from the enemy if they are firing their stock guns. However, you have somewhat a weak spot at the side plate and the 80mm driver hatch, so that even if you angle your armor it would still be a pain to hide those plates. Your firepower is exceptional. With the top 128mm and equipments you can bring it down to around 11 seconds. Combine this with 490 alpha you can rack up to 2600 DPM. The penetration is good with 248mm of pen, and it is just that, because all of your other stats are pure garbage. We can start by talking about the mobility of this thing. Even with using the turbo which I'm using here, you can just go maximum to 35 kilometers. Your power to weight ratio is also laughable with 13 horsepower per ton. Your terrain modifier is shits, so that your actual speed is even lower. Your traverse and reverse speeds are, well, to put it simply, if the enemy team go circle around you, and unless you are near a wall, you are basically dead before you can aim your gun towards them. Our IS-3 meanwhile decided to face hug the enemy tank, a thing which I don't recommend as this not only creates a wall for the enemy, so that your teammate would have a hard time to shot at the enemy weak spots, and me driving in this tank is an example of this. This tank is somewhat very large, clumsy that sometime I wish I'm playing something that is much more maneuverable than this thing, and as I just said, our IS-3 is still not only making this harder for me to deal with the enemy tank, but also getting himself hit multiple times without a trading back a shot, and this puts him down to 14 HP. Luckily he managed to finish off the enemy tank and we managed to secure this flank, while our team up the north is still holding well against the enemy. Now of course this game isn't that much of me doing anything much beside getting hit by enemy arty. I could have shown some game where I can just show some YOLO and high damage games, but that doesn't represent this tank as a whole. Most of the time in this thing use 9, and you will have to wait for 11 seconds to load another shell to the enemy, but most of the time they just go back to cover, and if you get spotted you just gonna get raided anyway, while they just laugh at you and snipe. That is just the Ferdinand in a nutshell, and the sad thing is that they're just other tank destroyer that can just perform their specific role better than you. If you want to brawl and YOLO, go play the K91 SPG and the T28. If you want to bitch slap the enemy, go play the ISU. And if you want something that has better handling in general, go play the Object 108 with the 130mm gun. I saw that our team is struggling against the IS-2, so I goes in and help them. At this point, even though we having tank number lead, 13 to 9, our total HP is still being the same. What this means is of course that the team can clean up our tanks very easily. I saw the T-43, so I end him quick with my second kill. Meanwhile, our team is falling left to right and my teammates still haven't make a breakthrough, so I goes in and helping them out. Our team put a round into the IS-2, but not quite a killing blow, and I finish him off. After that, I went full speed to that flank, and hoping to catch the enemy off guard as our team just took out another tank. The enemy meanwhile is setting a crossfire which allows them to take pot shot at us. This means that the T-44 and the Object 108 can pick us off the distance with ease. So I head toward them, hoping to light them up. I forgot to mention that this thing has a base view range of 370 meters, which is the best of all tier 8 tank destroyers, and the trade-off is having the worst concealment with only 7% moving concealment, so building view range won't be that much benefits cause you still gonna get outspotted with that piss poor concealment anyway. Our ISO is getting focus and losing a lot of health. This is something I want to highlight in this tank. You do not want to go 1v1 against any medium and light tankers, they can just snapshot you, while the 128mm with its terrible gun handling will have difficulties when hitting them. This is me making a mistake cause I thought that the Object 108 hasn't moved yet and I didn't realize there was another route behind the mountain. Of course, rubbing the wound with the hot water. The RT join in as well. And, well, we all know what happened next. Spoilers, we lose this game. However, this doesn't mean that there ain't any sunshine and sauerkraut for this thing. At this replay, I will show you the best way to deal with the weakness that this thing has. At the start of this game, I followed my heavy teammate and head to the town where the magic starts. There are basically two ways for you to play this tank. Either you can brawl, which is only effective when the enemy team don't bother shooting you, or you are stomping lower tiers like how Germany does in 1940. The second way is what I'm gonna show here. That is sitting behind a bush and being the role of a second line support. You want to punish the enemy that is pushing out in the open and you throw in 490 alpha to them. Our team is getting close to the town and me, still moving to a position as fast as possible. This is why the turbo is considered a must in this thing, as it increases both of your acceleration and top speed. And surprise surprise, I got spotted by the 906. So I back up, trying to not being the center of the enemy's attention, and this is what I see most of the time with light tank players, is that they always overextend and go brawling with their team. And this is just a stupid way to get yourself killed. The 906 is the perfect example of this. Not only he got hit by our IS-3, but also failed to penetrate my arm. So I return the favor by lobbing my shell to him, and our team finish him off. I notice the T-44, so I focus on him. Basically, you want to punish the mistake the enemy make, creating trades with your team and support them from distances. I tried to snipe the T-44 cupola, but with the awful 0.34 dispersion, it couldn't hit the tank. And the rest is just me hoping to hit the damn cupola. I'll load another shot, and it missed. At this point, since our team has pushed quite far, so I go in with them. As a reminder, the only time you want to push, make sure that your team is doing it first, otherwise it will lead to unexpected events. Luckily, with our NGs on my side, we finally managed to hit the cupola and finish off the T-44. Now, the IS-2SH on the other team is making this harder for us. I saw the IS-3 pushing out, so I focused my shot on him, and he trade back as well. Another T-44 push out and try to take pot shot at me, and he missed. I focused back to the IS-2. He with only 175mm pen couldn't pen me. The T-44 push out the open, and before I could load my shell, he already falls back to cover. So I decided to finish off the IS-5. Unfortunately, RK-91 blocked the shot for him, and we missed our chance. Meanwhile, the IS-2 still couldn't pen me, as this just another wallet warrior who doesn't bother to learn weak spots. I wait until he peeks out, and I hit his side plate, and he shot me with his APCR round to the flat 200mm casemate. And at the south flank, our team has break through the flank and now starting to push towards the enemy camp. The enemy, well, they don't want to push as they know that it would be suicidal, and they somehow killed RK-91. While two of our heavies and a medium and a light tank are sitting in the backline and not doing anything meaningful, which can lead to static and boring gameplay, just like any WG games that is on Asia server, as people just sit at the back and camp. Fortunately, our team is now pushing up and start damaging the enemy. At this point, since we are pushing ever closer, I go in and helping the team to break the deadlock. The enemy T-44 and IS-2 are being surrounded and being low health, and me, being greedy as usual, rushing in to secure the kill. The T-44, he is panic and trying to get out of here. The IS-2 is now dead, while still be able to take one tank down with him, and the same with the T-44. Of course, for our team, I have done my job well, being the supporting tank that they want. And that is what wins you games, which is the sad part, because how many times have you actually saw any teamwork at all? Barely a yes, because the average player of this game just doesn't care about that. The only thing they care about is dealing the most of the damage at possible. Of course this is because the research marathon doesn't reward you win. It only rewards you for being a selfish bastard that only cares about being able to reach tier 8 fast and ignore all of the other aspect that is just also important in this game. The game ends with me doing with 1873 damage. Not that great, but not that terrible. With 26k credits and a few thousand XP. This is just me marathoning the German TD tech tree line. And to be honest, this tank, when you compare it to the previous one, the Jagdpanther, is not that even great tier 4 tier. The Jagdpanther have speed, firepower so I can install view ranges, I can get to advantageous position early even without a turbo. This one cannot. Your ability to perform well is just too much depending on matchmaking, and the enemy team being paid actors. Team score wise, only with nearly 700 base XP, and as I just said, this just pretty much an average Ferdinand game where most high damage ones are boring to show and comment. Anyway, let's go to see the equipment. Okay, so, for equipment, this is the most effective build for the Ferdinand. You build ammo rack, vents to increase the DPM of this thing. Lastly, you choose turbo on this thing, so that it can at least not be like T28. Crew skill wise, this is another reason I don't like the Ferdinand, since ever from the Jagdpanther, you will have to recruit more crews which will slow the training time even further. For first skill you choose repairs for everyone. After then pick view range skills for commander and radio, gun handling skills for gunner and driver. Make sure to choose shell control for one of your loader, and added charge for the other. After finish with your second skill, drop for reactive training, and train the same thing again for everyone. As always, thanks you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.